Welcome, everyone, to Blood and Iron, Dead Man's Hand. Where we had left off with Alexandra was that she was standing face to face with a Nosferatu they had been acquainted with a little while ago, who seems to have taken out some frustrations in possibly a frenzy on a couple of thin bloods that she's aware of from this domain. And with the alleyway now covered in vitae, and her standing in awe of the situation, I wonder what kind of thoughts are going through her mind right now. So, Alex, thoughts?
Well, having just come from my gathering of sorts and rounding a corner into a secluded alleyway, to come face to face with this is shocking, to say the least. That pang of hunger in the back of my mind is going off. He wasn't pleased about the way that he... That's a lot of blood.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot of blood, and those faces look far too familiar. This is not a good situation. Not at all. And admittedly, the first instinct is a little panic.
That little flight response. The instinct to run.
It's a little panic, little flight. Perhaps I can turn this into an opportunity. I guess we'll soon see.
So do you do anything before he has a chance to walk towards you? Because it looks like he's going to.
She comes to a stop and holds up her hands and says, "Wait. Wait. I mean no harm."
Begging your pardon. Just cleaning up a mess.
Yes, I see that.
Can I help you with something?
Are you quite all right?
You see a twinge on his face, like he wants to clap back with something witty, but holds his tongue. I'm fine. Everything's fine. No need to worry. Just go about your business.
Those two boys.
What about them?
Were you well acquainted?
Yes. You've seen us at Kane's. All of us, in fact.
Seems a little strange.
Like I said, I'm cleaning up a mess. Am I bothering you? He says a little more loudly, a little more aggressive.
No, but it seems that I'm bothering you. Alexandra is going to take a couple of steps back. There's no guarantee that if he were to get aggressive, that she would be able to stop him in her current state.
All right, then. I'll be done in a jiffy. And he goes to pick up the two thin bloods that are mangled. In fact, mangled is an understatement. Eviscerated, more like.
Am I certain that he was the one that did this? Is that a reasonable assumption?
Make a wits and investigation. Let's see what you can quickly pick up. Given that there is blood all over the alleyway floor and along the walls of the sides of the buildings, they are torn to shreds. And there seems to be blood on his person. You imagine that there was some kind of altercation. What methods of fighting, you're not entirely sure. But it's safe to say that someone very strong put these two in their place. And Fernando being the one who attacked him is a reasonable conclusion, based on the evidence you see so far. But do you know Fernando well enough to know his capabilities?
No, she doesn't know him very well at all. In fact, she's only spoken or seen him once or twice. Barely 5 words exchanged between them. She stands nearby, and while she's keeping an eye on him, she's also going to take a quick glance around the surroundings to make sure that there is no one potentially going to walk in on the situation. If she can walk in on the situation, any mortal nearby, any human, any normal person walking in on the situation was also plausible.
And you stand in enough way that, given a quick glance, no one would know the wiser. It is very dark in this alleyway, after all. And anyone passing across the street wouldn't be able to see much of anything with you in the way and with how dark it is. And anyone who is on the same side of the street that you are, you kind of do your best to shoo them off, just to keep them from walking this way. looking ominous or creepy, or however it is that you feel that is the most appropriate to the situation. And once once he's gathered up the two boys, their bodies, and kind of thrown them over his shoulder, he kind of looks towards you, going towards the end of the alleyway, looking as if he's going to jump atop a roof, maybe?
She doesn't stop him.
So he jumps atop a roof and disappears into the night.
She lets out, well, she doesn't really need to breathe, kind of lets out a steadying breath, looking a little bit thrown for a loop. Like tension release. That was not something that she had expected to run. Why had Fernando, assuming that it was him, I mean, there's no sign of anybody else, why would he do such a thing?
Why, indeed.
She's going to step further back into the alleyway, and she's going to have a look around the area where the attack actually happened. Get a bit of a closer look, see if there's anything that she can pick up now that he and the corpses are gone.
Okay. And based on that investigation roll, because it would be the same, more or less, that you don't pick up any kind of determining evidence one way or the other whether Fernando was the attacker in this case. There was an altercation, there's lots of blood, and most of that is kind of going to be covered up by whatever else kind of rolls in. Maybe he'll come back and power wash the whole damn alleyway. Who knows?
I feel like
kind of just looks like a crime scene.
I feel like power washing the entire alleyway would raise more questions than it would hide. I mean, blood is blood, and this is Dallas. It's a city. It's not so unusual. She is going to walk away, and she is going to see if she can't get in contact. All this blood is driving her a little up the wall.
Yeah, it does look tasty, and you have to fight that instinct to lean down into the asphalt and lick it up yourself. How strongly do you fight that urge, I wonder? But maybe it's not strong enough to really pull you to the ground for the most part. So,
she probably does find herself staring at it just a little bit too long.
Staring very longingly, very hungrily. Those sort of animal instincts of need food that are within all kindred.
So she's going to step away, and she's going to see if she can't get in contact with somebody to get more food, I feel like, at this point.
Who do you call?
My contact.
Okay. Then, because this would be you purchasing blood bags
Mm-hmm.
as part of your hunting roll, huh? Okay. So I would like you to make me a hunting roll. It is going to be at your normal chase. You can add your contact dots to that hunting roll. I believe 4 does do it, right? Because y'all are chase 4, I believe. I think. Let me look.
Eventually going to go up by 1.
Eventually. You're chase 3, so that means 6. Yeah, 4 would do it.
Okay, beautiful. Because definitely need to top up.
All right. High or low?
I'm going to say low.
Because this will determine how much they're able to sell you. And you said low?
Back up!
Yep.
Yeah, I said low.
You only get 1 dot's worth, my friend.
That's fine. As soon as she gets back to her car, she squeezes that shit out like a juice box.
And it is... It tastes of preservatives. It tastes of stagnation. It tastes of death. But it's blood. And somehow, you don't gag. Maybe you even like the taste of that preservative, near-dead sort of quality of it. Which is weird, because most kindred would say that you are a strange thing amongst your kind, as warm blood is how most kindred would take their blood.
Perhaps I just have a stronger stomach than most.
Or maybe there's some kind of moral compass that is driving you that you think is making it all better. When really you just stole this from someone who might have needed it at the nearest hospital. Black market and everything. You know, the middleman is the one who actually stole it. You're just taking it off his hands and putting it to other use. Blah, blah, blah. Whatever you tell yourself.
Indeed.
To make it go down easier.
And then she's going to return to us.
And you return to the store. In the meantime, Shriek had been visiting a few members of the domain himself. But what has Dorian and Aaron been up to this last little bit of this night?
Dorian, after shooing everybody out of the house, decided to call some of his contacts up and start acquiring putting bids in on different businesses and donations to certain things, setting up plans.
Yes, I believe it has been discussed that Dorian has the audacity to try and make the primogen of the domain look a fool. Maybe he is a fool. Maybe he's not. Maybe he knows how Dorian's going to play. Maybe he doesn't. But we shall have to see how that works out, as Dorian, being the six-figure income sort of wheeler and dealer that he is, putting in donations at certain hospitals into certain projects going on in those places, may just win him some favor in the medical field. Shall have to see how that plays out. The money can talk. What's whether Dorian can talk as well. So, it is late at night, so the board meetings that potentially would be able to speak with you on such matters are adjourned, at least for the time being. The next time that you would be able to speak with them would be the following night, kind of early in the night, potentially. And given the kind of money that you want to invest into this place, you might be able to convince them just by doing that listening to you at the latest part of the evening might be in their best interest. So you've set up a meeting for the following night, first thing. So Aaron.
Yes, sir.
What have you been doing the last couple nights? We haven't really seen your beautiful face.
Yeah, the last couple nights been keeping me on the run a bit. I've been trying to get some odd jobs done in the meantime. Truth be told, I'm trying to pull some funds together. Recently talked with my feller, Codicius. God, that's a stupid fucking name. Anyways, decided I'd go off and, I'm trying to do is I promised someone something. I promised my man. I'd go ahead and get his ID erased, put him on the undercover a bit, so that he could run away from all this shit. It's rare. It's rare for any of our kinds, hunter folk, to decide they're ready to retire. It takes a lot of work. And the fact that Cash has been scared straight out of it, the fact that I'm able to talk him out of it, I don't want to miss the chance. Not by a hair of a millimeter. So I'm gonna go ahead and make sure he's good. Get him a proper fake ID.
Okay. Do you have the contacts to make that happen?
Codicius is a 2-dot contact. I have 2 dots of resources. He's done a couple details before.
Okay.
He's definitely worked his magic in other ways, so.
Okay. So, I would say that to produce the kind of mask that would undergo past local scrutiny, as far as Austin, Texas, easy peasy. As far as full erasure and works on a government level, i.e., more or less changing his government name so that he can assume a new identity, would be a little trickier on his behalf. So I would like you to decide which route you would like to go. The easy peasy route, in which case that is easily done in a night, and you could have it by tomorrow evening. The other route is more secure, more solid, more will pass more scrutiny, including in airports, including government background checks, things of that sort.
Yeah, 2-dot mask typically covers government background checks and things like that. Smaller temporary IDs and whatnot, something that'll pass local scrutiny, that tends to cover really basic checks. You might get through the airport just fine, depending on which airport. International, definitely the hell not. But local, just between the nation, different states, probably.
Crossing the state borders with just a driver's license is easy peasy.
That's the goal. We'll start with getting him the hell out of the state. Get him up to Washington. Like I said, I got some family up there. We'll work on the more complex stuff later. And the other thing I wanted to do is,
all right.
I don't want any of these SI folks catching wind that he left the state. So I'm taking his ID.
Okay. So in that particular case, It is to produce a fake driver's license will take Codicius only a matter of a night and only cost you a couple $100. Like I said, easy peasy. Nothing held up in any kind of limbo.
Alright. And then what about getting Cash's name in my person? Putting his history on top of mine.
That would probably be the more difficult route. In that, to successfully assume Cash's identity would mean that there's going to be some, faking of official channels. There's going to be some swapping photos for yours for his, that sort of thing. That will take a little bit more time to do, as he more or less would have to bypass any kind of government systems and checks in order to be able to get that solid for you. So a 2-dot mask for you could take better part of a week, 5 to 7 days.
That ain't too bad.
And cost you several tens of thousands of dollars.
That ties up all my resources for a bit.
That it would.
Looks like.
Means
Alright.
you basically have given up your salary for the year.
Cheap price to pay.
But he works quickly, and that's the draw that he has.
Consider it a deal, Cody. I'll go ahead and make sure that Cash gets the news.
Right on, man.
Hey, clean yourself up. It smells like weed in here.
Bro, it's the best kind, though. Really should have a puff.
Yeah. He just pats him on the shoulder, strong grip, and leaves him to it. He makes sure to passes over the initial cash in order to pay for the first temporary ID.
Friggin' sweet.
Yeah.
Alright. See you in a week.
Work your magic. And Aaron, content with himself, continues on into the evening. There is definitely other things he is interested in. He needs to follow up on Boone's. Let me put it into character. I need to follow up on some of their promises I made.
Indeed.
I'll be out here owing Miss Alexandra bit of an ordeal, an exchange, if you will. I'm not exactly too keen on putting the entirety of my family's history out for the whole damn vampiric society to be knowing that. At least not yet.
Because if they find out...
Yeah. I don't exactly need a whole genocide of lineage just yet. Kinda like the idea that I might have some little cousins in the far, far future. Assuming I live it.
Assuming. Well, with that being said, we will conclude the night and begin a new night.
Oh boy.
Where, should you all desire it, you may all meet up at Alexandra's shop, as that is the most assuming place to find her. So I would like rouse checks from everyone, please. Oh. Everyone manages not to get hungry or waking up this evening. How fortuitous. So, obviously Alex will already be at the shop, minding a few things that have come up as far as the shop's necessary sort of ordeals for the day. But who arrives next?
Oh, well, hell, no one talk at once. Suppose I show up.
Yes, since you did say that you had some things to run by her, and such favors to fulfill.
Yeah, I don't quite have anything just yet, but I suppose I just have some questions. When I show up, I see the shop, pull in with the truck. Miss Alexandra can probably hear the damn thing pop, so it comes to a halt and drive away, and I go ahead and slam the door, open up the hood, check inside to see what the hell just fucking imploded on itself there. Wrench it down a bit, waiting for her to come on out. Make a point not to enter unless invited at this rate. If she do see me, I'm there.
So, she is messing around with various details of the business on her still rather old laptop that has made quite a number of others who are more technologically inclined look at it and cringe in absolute horror.
Yes, it is still running Windows 7.
Yes. Yes, it is. And she hears the pop
Of
looks up out
the
the
backfire
window.
of the truck, yep.
And lets out a sigh. Well, it looks like I won't be getting anything done tonight. Closes the laptop, gets up, and makes her way to the front door.
That little chime, ever so graceful.
You
Miss
know,
Alexandra! I wave to you.
Mr. Winters, you know, you can come inside for at least a little while.
Fair enough. Thought I'd save some of them power bills if I didn't, though. Maybe it's the opposite, I don't know. Shuts the truck hood to the pretty decent slam, not necessarily trying to use force. Leans against the truck with his arms folded. Oh yeah. I had a couple questions I thought maybe you could help me out with.
Alex is going to hold up a finger and she's going to just quickly cast a glance around. I would like to use my Auspex as I do so.
Okay. With Sense the Unseen?
Yes.
Okay. Go ahead and roll an Auspex roll. Okay, not bad.
Really wasn't bad.
You don't see anything of note. Unless Shriek is walking up under the guise of an unseen passage. I don't know that Shriek... Has Shriek arrived yet? Or is he not arriving until later?
Oh, why not? After all, you can't allow her ladyship to end up being left to her own devices. This is just gonna be fabulous, sure.
Well, it's convenient that Aaron and Alex are already standing outside, so you don't exactly have to enter the building.
I'm sure. Why keep the mystery waiting? Besides, gotta end up dealing with our local hound, so there's always that.
He is nearby to the area, so it's convenient enough.
Boys, how you doing?
Evening, Shriek.
Mr. Shriek, how you faring?
Oh, just peachy. So, outside of everything falling apart and having a wonderful little time here hanging out, how have you all been?
Suppose a little bit on the busy side. Nothing necessarily to chime home about. You got your holes patched up there?
Why, were you looking to do some patching?
I mean, if you need it. Give me something to do tonight. What? What did I say?
I think that went a little over your head.
No, it's okay. He ends up opening up the hoodie that he's currently wearing, that little zip down one. It ends up showcasing that there's very little left of an upper torso. Imagine most of the rest of him isn't in any better shape. It's very odd to end up seeing a man walking around with open lung.
So no luck on the personal fix then?
Busy, and other people needed to end up getting things done, so I got it done. Besides, stop pretending like you care. You care only so long as I can end up keeping yapping and keeping you all informed, so I'll end up doing that job. If
Well,
I'm
let
gonna
me
get my hands and
repay.
knees, at the very least, let me have some fun with it.
Let me repay a little bit by keeping you in. We now have 2 less mouths to feed in this domain.
Who went bye-bye?
Pair of thin bloods that we're unfortunately rather aware of. Friends with our little fridge.
Who got them and why?
Not sure of the why. But who got them? Someone they were rather close to.
So, how much am I going to be paying for the specifics here? I mean, you're not my type, but hey, information's information.
We'll leave it as an IOU. I'll let you decide the value. I walked in on Fernando last night. Having ripped... Yes, I believe that's the right word. Ripped, shredded, completely made a mess of Our two wonderful thin bloods. Sorry, I just need to look up their names because I can't remember what they were.
Danny and Monty.
Danny and
Danny and
Monty.
Monty.
Danny and Monty.
You remember them, Shriek?
Yeah, I remember them when they were Maytag.
Mm-hmm.
Was quite the mess. Made sure that there was no breach, and he took off onto one of the rooftops.
You cleaned it up?
He cleaned up most of the mess. I left the blood because I figured cleaning that up would look a little bit more suspicious than just leaving it.
Who knows? It's getting humid these nights. Hopefully a good rainfall will end up giving you a bit of plausible deniability. Still, sloppy work, but okay. Technically
Not sure.
grade breaching, so there's that.
Not sure how I'm supposed to clean up an entire alleyway splattered with VtM.
Thin blood. Wow. Not much I can do about it now. But I think I can get something for it. Let's see here. Something you might want to know. Next few nights, likely Second Inquisition's going to be on the list. Birdie told me it's going to end up putting a lot of panties in a twist, especially with the higher ups. Expect things to be moving a little bit quickly as people start to scatter around. I imagine at that point it might be poor design for Dr. Kelly. If only he can keep up, though I imagine that's going to be a bit difficult. Probably for the best, though, if you're enterprising enough. I mean, darling, come on. You gotta end up seeing an opportunity when it's knocking at your coochie.
Indeed. Sorry, what exactly is Shriek getting at here? Because my brain is not functioning properly.
Shriek is trying to inform you that there is likely going to be some Second Inquisition movement in the very near future, which is going to end up causing the higher-ups a bit more stress than earlier on what has been showcased, implying that this might affect somebody a little bit higher up on the food chain than normal.
That definitely sounds like something that we can work with.
All I'm saying is just don't get in the way and be prepared to end up capitalizing on the downstream fall of opportunity. After all, when it rains, it pours, even if it is thin blood.
Aaron very distinctly has a focus on Shriek. He's very
Yeah, boy, I got
to
extra holes
conversation.
for you to end up using if you want to keep staring at me like that.
My apologies.
Oh, don't. I mean, we can always go in the back room, but you said you didn't want some. I've been trying to be
God
respectful,
damn
but
it.
you give me the old heavy eyeball. I start to get
He starts
curious, and you
walking
get
away.
curious.
Alex is just like, oh my goodness.
I hate that he leaves, but I do like watching him walk away.
And cowboy
You know
pants
what?
look pretty good.
I am inclined to agree.
Ah, well. Anyway, anything else I need to be brought up to date with? Any situations, little things I can do? Other than that, I got a full plate.
Well, if there's anything that I can do to assist, let me know.
My method of hunting with it doesn't meet up with yours too well.
No, it certainly doesn't.
Appreciate the openness, though. If anything, I think it's about time I go and drag the cowboy over for some alone time. See if I can't change his mind.
Good luck, Shriek.
And unless interrupted, he gives a little bit of a toodles. And with that little walk of his as he ends up stepping out to follow behind the cowboy.
Walking just a little quickly to get in sidestep with him.
And not too difficult. Aaron isn't particularly far. He more or less just meandered to the back of the truck to hide. Rummage through things.
Now, he kind of knocks on the back of the truck to get his attention.
So, Second Inquisition on the move then?
Not yet. Will be, though. Very, very shortly.
You got a hit spot?
I do, but it's in your best interest not to know.
Why exactly is that?
Given your previous associations and the fact that you are still on the shit watch list, you suddenly showing up completely unprompted ends up leading to some questions on how you got that information. Now, you could tell them I told you, but I'm not exactly well liked in those circles either, so they can just end up calling you out for being a liar and end up figuring, okay, we got an inside breacher. Or they do believe you, in which case they would end up asking how I would know. And that ends up leading to some very uncomfortable questions nobody wants asked in court.
Alright.
Make sense?
It does indeed. Not exactly,
But I don't like keeping you too much in the dark. Look, I don't have to trust you. I don't have to. Hell, I don't even have to like you. And I know certainly you don't like what you see on display. So I get that. I don't take it personally. I swing a lot of ways, but not here. I don't need everybody to swing with me. Whether that's a sex swing or a noose, you can take your pick.
he just rolls his eyes at you. He's having a hard time with this.
But I also know that you don't like being sidelined. You want to be as close to it as you can get. And for reasons I haven't quite figured out yet, trying to end up figuring out how you fit in this whole thing outside of break glass in case of emergency. Your expertise would certainly come in handy against, well, what you are. How you dealing with that, by the way?
What, the on death bit?
Well, given the fact that you are now an abomination outside of the grace of God, when beforehand, we used to be kill on sight, if not worse. I'm sure you had your fun there.
I won't lie. It took a bit. In truth, when it comes down to it, you just gotta work with the hand that you've been played. Cards of God is...
Go ahead.
Just gonna say, the cards of God are the cards you can play with.
Play the hand you're dealt.
Yeah.
I get that. Really, I do. You and me aren't so far removed. My predilections, though, is to keep everybody at arm's reach unless they absolutely need to know, or I can end up getting something out of it. I know it's a little bit sleazy, but at the very least, it's honest. You don't have to second guess with me where I stand.
Not at all.
But it's just you and the truck and a whole baggage claim worth of history. I imagine that'll catch it up with you.
There's a lot of questions about it.
Like?
Where are they? Who are they? What are they doing? That kind of stuff. The unfortunate thing is, I don't know. Not really. Convenient thing is, I have an idea of what there used to be. At least now, anyways.
Makes you feel kind of out of date, doesn't it?
Not particularly. In truth, it actually turns out to be rather convenient. Made this whole transition a bit hell of a lot easier. I didn't rely on phones or any sort of special equipment to get things done in the first place. I just knew people, and those people knew people. And all I needed to do was keep my head above water. Same shit, different day.
Except this time you get to end up dealing with people who aren't. Makes me wonder, are you more comfortable dealing with corpses than you are actually living, breathing people? Honey, I'm all kinds of messed up. I get that, but you're a whole nother bag of well, hammers. We'll use your vernacular.
I feel like this is a revolving conversation. I bring this up often enough that you can't seem to pinpoint what I'm about.
Maybe I just don't. I look at what's going on and I don't. Something's not clicking. And well, you're old school enough. You remember those old models of vintage cars you used to put together as a kid? And then all of a sudden you got like these two pieces that you're looking at them and going, where the hell did these go? I mean, it looks like the same as it does on the box, but here's the two pieces. I'm missing something's not lining up. I haven't figured it out yet. Which, to me, is somewhat maddening. Trouble is I don't even know what questions to ask. Is this supposed to be a part of the muffler, or is this A part of the suspension? I don't know. Besides, how many people can say they got put into a coterie with a former hunter, whereas I'm sure if situations were different, you and me wouldn't be having this conversation. I'd probably be either draining you dry or you'd be sticking a piece of wood in me, and not the kind I've been asking for.
I'll simplify it. Dead things are dead. Not a lot more or less to that. You might resemble a person, might have a personality. But I don't think any bit of that is real.
Just the monster with teeth.
Every little aspect of you is designed to be a better killer. I hear tigers are vengeful. Once upon a time, a man stole the prey of a tiger. The damn thing hunted him for well over a decade, till it met him again, slashing him apart and ate him. People said that that was a sign of some form of emotional intelligence. I don't think that was it. I think it was instinctual that the moment the tiger realized there was a better predator than it, there needed to be something done about that, so it stayed top of the game.
I like that. I like that a lot. Wow. If that's the case. And I do like being on top. Why don't we end up asking it a simple question? Anything else I can end up doing for you that doesn't compromise yours or the coteries position at this exact time?
I had an agreement, Miss Alexandra. That agreement, I think, would benefit us as a whole. The whole entire group.
How
Problem is it's not exactly something I can fulfill anytime soon. I'm gonna have to wait for that little SI hit to go off.
You do have eternity as patience.
There's someone I want out of that.
Someone.
Recall. Did Alex ever tell Aaron Dr. Olson's name?
Yes, actually, she did. She would have mentioned it when they saw the SI person together.
In the vehicle, cool. Dr. Olson.
Let's see. Olson. Right! Used to operate a clinic until it went up in flames.
I need him to be my sacrificial lamb to get this here deal done.
Do you just need his corpse?
He thinks about it. I need him alive. but only alive enough to be able to squeal when we tell him to. You help me keep eyes and ears to the ground on that. Tell me when to jump in and grab him. Where he is, what he's at, and on about. When's the best time to jump him? And that's all done.
Wish I could. But that kind of information doesn't come cheap. Puts a lot of problems going into the woodwork if I do so. However, I can split the difference. I can't tell you. But there might be something of interest if you come along with me for a drive. What do you think? Want to be my chaperone for an evening? Don't worry, I'm not going to end up pulling the hitchhiker routine.
You got yourself a deal?
Fantastic. Well, we need to end up making a quick little turn to see Raphael Singleton. Hopefully he's still at his... Well, hopefully he's still at storage locations, but, you know. We'll have to see.
That's about when you would see one of Dorian's cars driving by.
No, you would not.
No?
I've been waiting to say that. Dorian would not show up at the shop tonight.
No, okay. Where would he go then?
He has plans, funny enough, that he wanted to see Singleton and go to the hospital for the board meeting.
Well, I'm already assuming that that's taking place right this very moment. And you would be just coming back from that.
Oh, okay, Alright.
Unless there was a scene there that you wanted to have.
Well, I wanted to make sure to, like, maybe throw some dice at it and convince them and pitch ideas.
Yep, that would be a simple charisma plus persuasion.
And would negotiation and persuasion work?
Negotiation is exactly what you are doing.
Yep.
So let's see how successful you are tonight. I'm looking for a total of successes over the course of the next 3 nights.
Alright, I'm going to rouse for this.
Okay. Okay.
And I'm going to willpower 3 of those.
Okay. Oh, that turns that into a
8, I think.
crit for 8, I believe. Yes, because that would be 6, and then plus 2 would be 8. Well, that's definitely meets what I was looking for.
Yeah, I want to pitch them the idea of being able to throw my money and actually bring in new young talent that is top of the line in the field. And, you know, look over what Keller's actually providing them and basically, you know, try to push out with the old, in with the new, and set them up for the future. Is the kind of line of thinking I want to feed the board.
Okay. So in so many words, being vague, as you are professional in doing, you meet with the board this one night. And the board of directors of this hospital seem rather impressed with your proposal for how much money you would like to donate, and how much of that you would want to go into the medical education, because this is a teaching hospital. And as a teaching hospital, they are constantly having talent go in and out as part of their education program, as well as residencies, as well as moving up the chain and into their medical fields. And so by putting more money into the education of those individuals, that does mean that they are going to be better funded for the next school year. So they're more than happy with your proposal, that with how you want it allocated. And as far as discovering what it is that Keller provides them, Keller does provide them a similar allocation of funds. Right now, they seem very convinced with your outline of how you want it spent. They think that it's a lot more organized than just tossing money at this, that, or the other. So far, they seem very on board. They are convinced and would like to implement it for the next school year, which would start in September.
I'm going to try to get any notes of things that they need worked on, or that other ways that I can contribute and solidify my position, if I can.
That is very much what exactly you do, because that is 8 successes on a crit, the details of which aren't super necessary, but you have got your financial foot in the door, as it were.
Okay.
You have proposed it in such a way that they are impressed with your plans. So they're on board with your plans when it comes to this particular donation you're making. So you have a foot in the door financially. So at the end of this session, I will allow you to purchase influence in hospitals with 1 dot.
Okay.
So, after a very rousing proposal and that meeting finishing up rather quickly and with the desired outcome, you planned for several nights of having to talk to the board, but you feel that you have...
I think he accidentally DC'd.
Did he?
There he is.
Oh.
Welcome back.
My shit just restarted for no reason.
Oh, no worries. I was just saying that since you had originally planned for talking to the board for several nights, you have several nights free, as per your schedule. So, you can do with those few nights as you see fit.
Okay, I have my next proposal that I think I'm going to do, but I want to go meet with Singleton and start maybe if there's a place where people gather, maybe at Elysium or something, maybe visit there during the night.
Okay.
Those are the next 2 things I'd like to do.
Okay. Well, it just so happens that a certain Nosferatu and a certain Lasombra also happen to be visiting Singleton during the time at which you would be getting out of the meeting, and so the 3 of you meet up there for your own purposes. Whether you want to speak with him individually or not, that is completely up to you, but you are aware that the 3 of yourselves are there.
Dorian would walk up.
Seeing Dorian arrive, Aaron's just gonna be like, "Well, it is Mr. Resner. What a surprise."
Mr. Winters.
Sound less than pleased.
Oh. Not with you, I'm sorry. I'm still a little perturbed about last night.
Understandable.
Went
Well,
through
you're here
great.
now, so, how was it that we're here?
Oh, I wanted to talk to Mr. Singleton.
Go right on ahead. Mr. Treek,
Okay.
do we want a game plan out here for just a moment while Mr. Resner goes ahead and does what business he needs to conduct? Unless you want to go in, I'm just here. He holds up his hands. He's like, there's multiple people here that could potentially tell me what to do.
Well, I'll leave it to you gentlemen to it. And I'll walk up and I'll knock on the door.
So are you all walking in at once? I think Aaron was leaving that up to Shriek. Shriek?
Shriek is is going to be dragging a cowboy over to the Hound at this point.
Yes, you are all there. We were asking if you were dragging him in right now with Dorian or without.
You know what? I'll leave that to Dorian's decision. Because
Dorian was insinuating that he was going in to talk alone. Because he is less than happy right now.
Alright.
You can see there's annoyance on his face.
He tend to gain in the way of adventurous wrath. Rather not poke around.
Understood. Good luck in there, Mr. Resner. Catch up with you later.
It won't take long. And he'll go up and knock on the door.
And the door opens, as it is still more or less within business hours. So you walk in, and you do find that Singleton is behind the counter, manning his station as per usual.
Good evening, Mr. Singleton.
Ah, Dorian Resner. To what do I owe this pleasure?
I wish to come and have a conversation with you.
Okay.
And I'm going to be frank. The last time I was here, you seemed rather down and resigned. And I've been working to secure the future of the domain. And want to work with you to preserve it. Actually, survive it. I'd rather not have a sort of Damocles situation.
There already is a sort of Damocles situation.
Oh, I'm ever working to improve that.
Well, good luck. I'm not saying it's impossible to make this domain shine bright like a diamond, but, well, I mean, there's a lot of work to do, and, you know, keeping things from getting out of hand is kind of my job.
Yes. Well, to be frank, lately, our Primogen has been coming apart at the seams. Has been showing a lot of incompetence. And I'm banking on him becoming more and more unhinged.
He's a Malkavian, that's expected.
Yes. But if I can prove no confidence in him, we can get someone better.
Who?
I don't know. But I'm working to take over interests and secure our position.
You. You would propose yourself as Primogen.
No, I'm simply working to remove an ineffectual.
And will do what with the power gap?
That would be for the prince to decide.
The prince already decided. There was a power gap with Brucato gone, and it had to be filled. Unless you can think of another candidate that would have made a better fit, we'd be right back where we were with temporary Primogen.
Could I think of someone that would be a better fit that would actually help us in leading the domain?
That's an intelligence politics.
Okay. You know what? I'll rouse for this one too.
Okay, go for it. Do the smart. Okay, that's 5.
You know what?
Happy with
A
5?
willpower for another 2.
Okay.
And fish for the crit again. Nope.
No, well, 5 is a good and solid politics roll. So far as you understand it, when it comes to the politics of the domain of Dallas and Fort Worth, as a combined city, there's a number of kindred, as a giant metropolitan area does make for something very widespread. But as far as court members go, you know that each clan has its own Primogen, of course. And then there's the Primogen of the reclaimed, as they're called. And so far as you know, no one wants the position. Because that means they're on the chopping block too.
Okay.
That's what you know the situation to be like. The Primogen of the individual clans, they're perfectly happy in their positions and where they're stationed in the city and as a whole. Brucato was assigned to the reclaimed because she too was on the chopping block, from what you're understanding. Keller's assigned to the domain now because he's on the chopping block. No one, even the Primogen, is not immune to anything that goes down in this domain. And this domain being as full as it is, and without the agency to expand the borders to accommodate all of these kindred, it is meant to be a powder keg. It is a death trap. Any kindred sent here on assignment or as part of their entry into the domain doesn't get out without a fight.
Okay, I have an idea then.
That includes your hound, that includes your Primogen.
You know, thinking about it, no one actually really wants this job.
Can you blame them?
If it came down to it, yes, I would put myself up there. I would take that on responsibility.
Are you sure you can manage all those kinds of responsibilities?
He is a Ventrue too, as well, right?
He is, yes. And you would know that.
I'm willing to try and work my hardest. You know my lineage, probably. I have a lot to live up to. And a lot to work on.
I know that you're here because your sire is being watched. Rising up out of torpor as if nothing happened. From who knows how long. Then given the permission to embrace you right away. You've earned the ire of a lot of Ventru. Just by existing.
And that I can live with. I have a lot to prove.
You do. Because a lot of what you have right now is special privilege. Special privilege that some, amongst our brethren, would say is unearned.
Yet their balls are not as close to the bandsaw as mine. They may not like the privilege that I have right now, but I sure as hell am paying for it. I'm earning my way here. I'm trying to improve everything. There's so much potential and so much wasted. I don't understand why.
So enlighten me a little bit, Mr. Resner. What kind of potential is here in suburbia?
This place is being treated like just being put out to pasture, and nothing can be developed.
Aside from your...
That stagnancy.
Well, you seem to have started to build a condo complex. Am I wrong?
I'm working to try short term. We're going to need to build more. That was a short term solution to the problem that we discussed. Long term, keep developing, keep building, keep bringing in people.
But what's going to draw them here? That's my question.
And Dorian will spout off shit that he's smart about because he's better at this than I am.
Okay. Make a charisma and persuasion.
Alright. And would this be more like a negotiation still, or no?
No, not in this case. You're more trying to convince him that you do have a plan.
Okay.
And what that plan entails, you know. Because Dorian doesn't strike me as an urban developer. He's more of an he's more of an urban conceptualist.
Yeah.
He can come up with the ideas and the concepts, but actually putting those things into practice, well, he doesn't know much about city engineering.
Okay, and I will reroll 3.
Okay. Okay,
So
that's 4. He's listening, but he still has a little bit of a skeptical face. Okay.
Now I can't do all this by myself.
No, clearly not.
I'm not stupid enough to think that I'm some kind of superhero flying in here to save everyone.
That's kind of the vibe I was getting initially.
There's no S on my chest.
No,
But
just a lot of money. Which is more akin to Batman. If my pop culture serves me right.
You're probably right. I do have the cool cars. I think you are right.
And probably just as self-interested. As most kindred are.
Yes. But I think if we can get enough people that want to survive this, working together, not to mention our Primogen has plenty of enemies that wouldn't mind seeing him fall and scooping up the spoils of what he leaves behind.
The spoils being this domain. Again,
Well, isn't he
like
part of another domain too? He has his own domain.
it's kind of been combined into one at this point.
Oh, okay. Now it's been rolled over. Okay.
Yep.
Well, like I said, I think that we can do something. It's better than just waiting for the sword to fall. And I personally would rather go down with a fight. At least trying everything I can, than roll over.
Well, another purge happens. Don't come back to me saying you didn't see it happening. You didn't see it coming. Because that's exactly how the last one started.
Well, like I said, I'm going to try to secure as much support as I can in other places. If I only look to our domain, that's exactly what it's going to look like. I'd be playing into the hands of anybody that wanted it and would be a fool.
I hope you're right. Hate for you to end up like Eugene.
Would I know who Eugene is?
Make it intelligence politics.
Okay. Is this a Dallas or like our like area?
Dallas related? Yep.
Yeah. Okay. 5 successes.
Okay. You've heard of a Eugene. You've heard of a Ventru named Eugene. They swore he was Anarch. Stood up in the rebellion against the Camarilla during the last purge. In fact, you would know that name because Jade Kaufman is among his childer.
That name is not unknown to me. His childer seems to dislike me.
As do quite a number of young bucks, I'm sure.
Well, I just wanted to come and touch base with you and at least give you intentions and see if it was something that you would support. I'm not asking you to throw yourself on the sword, but we can help and do this.
Yeah, but that's exactly what you're doing, though. Is asking who would throw themselves on the sword for your idea. And to be quite fair to you, I will think about it.
That's all I can ask. And Dorian would reach out and try to shake his hand.
We haven't come into any kind of agreement just yet, so...
This is more of a sign of respect. When we met, we were kind of... Well, I can say, I think you thought less of me.
I don't like
more
you.
of a... You don't have to. I'm not asking you to be best friends. I just want us to work together to try to survive this.
As Ventru.
If we don't at least try, Well, what the hell is all of our pride and lineage good for?
You can at least still stake that claim.
Do I know what he's talking about? Has he been disowned?
Based on that politics roll, he could be meaning broadly. He could be also umbrellaing Jade under that statement.
Well,
Whether he's orphaned or not, you're not sure.
well, we all have something to prove. And we can never stop until we best it.
May it be a fruitful one for you then.
Yes. For all our sakes, I hope that this works. Because otherwise, seeing the writing on the wall...
We're going up in flames.
Yeah. And like I said, I can't go down without at least trying. I don't like waste.
Then have a good night, Dorian.
You as well, Mr. Singleton. Or I should... It's Hound. What would the best way to address him with respect?
I mean, Mr. or Miss is usually a good fallback.
Okay.
But based
I want to show proper deference to his
position.
position.
Yeah, proper deference to his position. Because you have the etiquette dots, you would address him as... You could potentially address him as... like something to the effect of mighty hound,
Like hound.
or noble hound, something with an adjective on it.
Okay, and then saying, "Thank you for your time, noble hound," and give a slight bow.
He would nod to you in acknowledgement and allow you to leave.
And I would.
All right. Well, Shriek and Aaron, you do have a moment to yourselves to speak alone, should you desire to.
Wow. So glad to end up finally getting the audience. I wait for Mr. Resner to be in the clear before bringing Aaron in to see Mr. Singleton.
You do anything beforehand or no? Not really.
No, not really at this point. Unless Mr. Winters has something to say.
Nothing important. And honestly, just making small talk to try and jab back.
Little bit
Though
of
I'm
small
not as
talk.
eloquent.
All right. Then as soon as Dorian has cleared the door, Shriek and Aaron, you both enter in, and Raphael seems to quirk a brow, because that is 3 members, of the same coterie, visiting him in the same night and in separate groups.
It was wholly a coincidence, I swear.
Seems very inquisitive-faced about it.
A pleasure be you taking us in at such short notice, Singleton.
Shriek. Aaron. What do I owe this pleasure? I just saw Dorian.
Mr. Resner has ended up wanting to request to end up speaking to you privately. And given on how I am wishing not to overstep my bounds in intricate clan dealings. We were just being respectful of it.
Okay. So to what do I owe this pleasure?
Hardly a pleasure, Mr. Singleton. He undoes his hoodie and pulls it off, revealing, and Aaron, you get to see this in full display. You thought it was bad when he just peeled back a little bit of his hoodie. There's, like, you're pretty sure some of him is literally being held together by the fishnet that he wears. You know, but the bones aren't dislodged. You're pretty sure his forearm is working on sheer willpower alone. To say like he's been just thrown through a wood chipper then sewn back together wrong would probably be an understatement.
You certainly have had better days.
In service to the Camarilla, there can be no better day. So, very first thing that I need to inform you of is that you will no longer be seen Danny or Morty. As it would seem that they have been removed from this immortal coil. It doesn't have anything to do with me. Don't worry about that. It has to do with Fernando. Whether you want to end up asking him about such things or not, well, that's none of my discretion. But I did say I would keep you informed. Now, as for my current state, that's the real pressing issue. Outside of the sacrilege of ruining something as perfect as this. He grabs hold of, or he pulls out a note from his hoodie. Probably has a little bit of his blood on it, mostly on the fact that whatever the hell's leaking out of him. Thankfully, no blood pressure. He drops it in front of him. That location and date, I believe, will be struck by the Second Inquisition.
And he opens it up, and what location is this, Shriek?
This would happen to be where the prince ends up keeping his food sources.
Aha. And you believe it to be on this date?
If my sources are appropriate, I went through a ordeal to be sure to have it.
So what makes this location so important? This is kind of on the outskirts of the domain in full.
To which I wish I had an answer. What I do know is they will be end up going there, and they will be going there in force. And as I am in no condition to end up assisting you in the combat, Mr. Winters here has offered his services and expertise in order to end up being sure that everything ends up going accordingly. As you will end up no doubtedly need the muscle at the very least, and somebody with the combat expertise and insights to the appropriate matter. His eyes may shift immediately to Winters and then back to the Deer Hound.
And Aaron, you would also see that Raphael does look over to you with an inquisitive look as to what kind of skills and insights Shriek might be alluding to.
Services to the tower. And at your leisure.
That's rather vague. That doesn't tell me what kind of skills you possess, Mr. Winters.
Let's just say that it's not unusual for him to be able to end up seeing combat He's proven himself in the coterie and is in fact the reason that I am still here. Which is not technically a lie.
Okay.
Could have fooled me.
All right. So if this is meant to convince him that Aaron is
Usable.
a combat heavy without particularly saying why.
Yeah.
Okay. Then I would like a manipulation and persuasion from Shriek, and you do get assistance from Aaron if he has persuasion.
Oh, let's check it out. I know I have intimidation. I know I have that up the fucking wazoo, but
Yeah, you're not intimidating Raphael into anything, though.
no,
Yeah.
I don't have any. Yeah, I don't
I'm
have
willing
any
to
persuasion.
rouse for this.
Rouse for that.
Oh,
Okay.
God.
Yeah.
It's okay. I'll feed you later.
Aaron's buying dinner.
Okay.
Okay, not getting any hungrier, Shriek.
And you said manipulation, persuasion.
Yes, because technically it's not a lie. You're just omitting certain truths.
Well, that's a 5.
Are you happy with 5?
I'm gonna willpower.
Pretty,
This is gonna exhaust me.
5 is pretty good.
Yeah, but I need to sell this for everything I can because the entire plan hinges on Aaron going up.
Okay,
That's 6.
6 successes. He looks over Aaron. And Aaron, without really thinking about, selling it too much, you kind of give a slight hint as to your strength, maybe what little of Oblivion you might know, maybe
Maybe it's the dark aura, the ominous flickering lights, and the gun on my hip.
the gun on your
Oh,
head.
maybe right now Raphael just needs the assistance of some good old boys, and you're the closest thing that ends up coming into that purview at this point.
And Shriek is kind of vaguely telling Singleton that you are exactly what they need to combat hunters. And by exactly what they need, it is in Shriek's tone, in Shriek's words, in Shriek's body language, along with your own, that gets Singleton to go, huh. You might have struck a bit of curiosity in the Ventru, but you've also seemed to have convinced him of the appropriate skill set that you might have in abundance, given your previous profession, without saying so much. So, Singleton just kind of, as he's looking you over, Aaron, and then looks back to Shriek. I think I understand. So, you are in no condition to assist. Is there something that I can do to help put you in a better condition? Maybe not to assist, but to get you back on your feet proper. You barely look like you're walking.
Well, thankfully, no. Sorry. That joke would be considered too crass for one of your stature. I'm just trying to end up putting things together and giving this domain a fair shot. Speaking frankly, Mr. Singleton, I think you're the only thing holding this whole thing together. Least I can do is give you some valuable intel.
Much appreciated. You have no idea.
Wow.
I will definitely be investigating the matter of Fernando, such as that is, given that thin bloods are not protected by the laws of the Camarilla. It is simply an investigation that I can do. I can't guarantee any punishment would be excised.
Not asking for punishment, Fernando. Quite the opposite, really. I just thought you might like some leverage to be able to maybe make it more pliable to recruitment on more important matters.
Yes.
He looks back at the envelope. And Mr. Singleton.
Mm-hmm.
He pauses for a moment. I am led to believe that this is a situation of importance. Importance enough that certain members of the court may not be trusted with it. But I am under good authority that should you end up pursuing this matter, you're gonna want to end up doing that because, darling, if it's what I think it is, that means somebody in the court just tried to end up selling our prince up the river.
We don't want that. Long may it rain.
Long may it rain. And as much as I appreciate your services here, Mr. Singleton, you and I both know you deserve better. One thing I hope is I gave you your golden ticket. He picks up his hoodie and groans a little bit in pain as he's putting it back on.
Mr. Resner has been promising golden tickets as well.
We're all on the same book. The question is, are we all on the same page? Then again, no one's decided to crack me open yet.
You're not exactly the most open of books.
Spine doesn't bend quite like it used to. Legs do, though. But something tells me that's not the kind of night you're looking for.
Well, we shall see. But if this is of the utmost importance, that takes priority.
And more, like I said, I don't know who can't be trusted with this. I'm coming to you because you're the only one that makes sense in this situation. And you're the only one that I can pretty much count out on being a Second Inquisition shill. Wish I could say the rest of that for everybody, but maybe time will tell.
I would never throw my fellow kindred to the Second Inquisition.
Well spoken. Unfortunately.
Take care of yourself. I need
Still more
you.
to do. He stops and thinks about it for a minute. Still more to do for the domain. And when that is settled, I'll get back right as rain.
I'm insisting. Don't make me get the primogen. And
Now,
you
why
wouldn't
would
listen
you
to
do
him
that?
anyway.
You're right.
If he ordered you to go take it a snack, you wouldn't do it.
Oh, I'd do it. I'd do it. Just... Look, for all you might think of me, ain't question my loyalties.
You are definitely a Camarilla amongst Camarilla.
I know of no higher compliment coming from you here, Ventru. But I gotta get going. Still more errands to run. Busy, busy, busy. Maybe I'll grab a bite afterwards. Till then.
Mr. Winters, make sure that he does.
Will do.
Toodles.
Have a good night.
And Shriek starts stepping out, and as soon as he closes the door behind himself with Mr. Winters, he just kind of slumps, making it very clear that a portion of his spine is currently sticking out, meaning it's been thoroughly severed. He's mostly spending most of his energy trying to balance two broken bones on top of each other in order to stand upright.
Alright, buddy, let's get you something to drink. Aaron's gonna actually, lift Shriek back up onto his feet. Help him across and wherever he needs to go for a second before he's stable again. You got a tap?
I need a piece of rebar and some duct tape.
Well, I can make it happen, but, feel like someone else is gonna have to figure that out for you. He's trying really hard to avoid any further innuendos.
He can be taught.
Indeed.
The question is, Conspector.
No. Bro, no, my mind is full of fuck.
But, no. Shriek is going to probably try and do some feeding, but, yeah, been a rough one.
Alright. Then let's do a quick hunting roll for Shriek then.
Okay.
What is necessary and how can I help?
And your hunger, Shriek, is at 1, yes? So you're not at any risk of anything.
I'm not at any risk of anything. It's, wounds help sell the effect. It's not that he's not willing to end up doing so. It's just, it's better to try and heal aggravated damage while in the process of feeding.
Indeed. So, in that case, I would like you to roll the rouse checks for your wounds first, and then afterwards you... well, actually, let's roll the roll the dice for hunting so that we can see if it's a success or not.
All right. Do you have any dots in stealth, Mr. Winters? I'm presuming yes.
No, I don't. Well, I get a +2 to stealth when I use Oblivion, but that's
Okay,
That
so
applies
no,
to you
don't.
only, yeah.
Yeah.
officially
So-
no.
There will be no assists. Like I said, Shriek has a unique hunting style.
I will hunt on my own terms in that regard.
I hate to do this, but I'm gonna take a point of. I'm gonna spend willpower to roll 3, putting
4
me
is
at
enough.
full. 4 is enough?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Your chase is at 3. 4
I'm
is
sorry.
enough.
I mixed up because I'm thinking of the chase from Sunday's game.
Yeah.
Which is always 5+.
No. 4 is enough.
That is enough. Then.
Then, since it is a
Freak
success, go ahead and roll your rouses for your heal.
First one's aggravated.
Okay. So you only spend 1, so that puts you up to 2.
And then I will rouse 1 for the superficial I have left.
Okay.
That
so
puts me down. 3. But then I take 2.
Then you take 2, so you're back to hunger 1, and you have regained 2 of your health points.
Hit 2 out of 5. Fantastic. Because I was literally at 4 aggravated, 1 hit superficial.
Fantastic.
Sorry.
That was my entire my entire pool.
No worries, no worries. All right. Well, with a successful feed and heal, I think that's where we're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, we will see what else our kindred get up to. So, be right back, everyone. Welcome back, everyone, to Blood and Iron, Dead Man's Hand. The coterie has since gone off to do their own little errands. Alex has made it a point that she would like to speak with one of the Thin Bloods, Frankie, to get an idea of just maybe how he can be useful to the domain. Frankie is, after all, very charismatic, very much a salesperson at heart, and perhaps she's fascinated a little bit with the very unique American accent that comes from this man, too. Being that she's Australian and doesn't often get the real-life thing. So, Alex, you have chatted with Frankie about meeting up. Frankie has stated that he has gotten himself one of the apartments that Dorian has actually set up, as it seems that the condo complex is complete. And so by becoming one of the renters, as it were, the Thin Blood has a place of his own to call Sanctuary. And when you reach the top floor of this condo complex, it does seem that many of the apartments do seem to have very light-proof shutters on the exterior. There's, of course, blinds on every other apartment below them, but it seems that these were particularly equipped with light-proof in mind. You know, for those overnight and during the day sleepers, those overnight workers, those who have their business conducted during the middle of the night rather than the middle of the day. That being said, you come up to the apartment and give the doorbell a good ring, and you are met with the man of the hour. Howdy, miss.
Frankie, how are you doing this evening?
Hey, I'm alright. How you doing?
I am wonderful. May I come in?
Good to hear. Good to hear. Yeah, come on in. Come on in. We got it. I ain't got a lot of stuff, but you know, it's a work in progress. Just like the rest of these damn apartments, you know, they're still constructing during the middle of the day. It's such a racket.
It could be worse.
It could be worse. Could be worse. You know, there could be molds. There could be insects. There could be sunlight. You never know. It's one of those things where you gotta be grateful for the little things in life, or on life, or whatever the fuck it is.
Alex kind of steps inside. He kind of takes a quick look around.
It's
Kinda just
absolutely
checking out.
sparse. There's basically no furniture in this place.
I'm just imagining like their voices kind of echo off the walls a little bit because it's so
Yeah.
empty.
Yeah, there's carpet, so there's not too. It still echoes like an empty room though, because it's a one bedroom sort of apartment with a hallway that leads to the one bathroom, and it seems that there is a utility closet where hookups for washing machine might be, but it is fairly barren. You maybe see in the corner that the bedroom door is open, and that there might be a mattress on the floor, and sort of a tent almost, kind of propped up with the shutters closed. But there's hardly anything in this place, including in the kitchen, which basically has the refrigerator and the stove, and basically nothing else.
Do any of the doors have solid locks on them?
Yeah, the doors for the entryway into the apartment have a knob lock and a deadbolt, so that it can be locked from both sides, from both locks on the inside. As far as the rest of the doors in the apartment, they seem to be fairly standard, although as sparse as it might be, the interior is nice. We're talking nice countertops, nice cupboards, sort of. There's like crown molding all over the interior walls. There's sort of the doors are kind of decorative in a way. There are indeed curtains to the windows as well that are also very nice. Kind of a heavy linen in a dark fabric color. The carpet is dark and very sort of fluffy, but not too much.
Yeah.
And the floor, the hard floors are all ceramic tile. So it's a nice apartment, just very empty.
I see the builders have done a good job.
Yeah,
Dorian's money certainly didn't go to waste.
yeah. It's definitely gonna cost a pretty penny too, and I'm not looking forward to how many hours I'm gonna have to put into work or whatever to be able to afford this place. But whatever works, right?
I do believe Dorian said something about meeting needs.
To
pay rent.
To pay rent, right? Yeah, because he's kind of the one who's got the pocketbook for all of this, right?
That's exactly right.
So, I'm guessing that's what you're here for. Is what can I contribute to this whole rent payment thing besides just cash?
Well, I mean, I was just simply interested in you.
Darling, you ain't just interested in me.
Well, don't be so sure about that.
Doll, if you were just interested in me, you would have said, hey, can I buy you a drink? At the other place.
I mean, we could organize that too if you're really interested.
I'm not the one who's interested, darling. I'm a businessman, first and foremost.
I know. It's an interesting choice of career.
Hey, you want something sold? You want me to sell you something? I got people. Including here, including outside the state, including anywhere else in the United States, I got people. I got a guy who knows a guy.
That's a hell of a skill.
Well, it's not a skill, it's who you know.
And that can be quite important. So, asides the others that I met the other night, myself and Dorian, do you have any other connections within our ilk yet?
See, that's where it gets a little bit tough, a little bit, hard to come by, because, it's not, it's not like we're invited to places, where the big wigs go and have their parties or whatever. Because, I've been in the city for a little while now, and I know that there's parties that go on, they call it Elysium or whatever the fuck, and I'm never invited. I never see somebody coming down here asking us if we want to go and have, rub elbows with the big wigs or whatever. Not that I've ever seen them ever before. I don't even know what they look like. I don't even know anybody's name. I just know who's here in the Arlington city because that's all I'm allowed to go to. I go anywhere else in the damn city and I get stopped by somebody and they tell me get the fuck out. And I ain't gonna say no to somebody who's got a piece in my face, alright?
That is fair enough. It is hard to wander about when you're not quite fully of the night.
Yeah, way to rub it in my face.
Even for some of us who are fully of the night, it is quite difficult.
Well, you have an easier time of it because you're at least somebody who could walk into that damn place and be able to say, "Hey, I want to talk to whoever," And you can go up to what are their name, the Harpy or whatever. They call them a Harpy in New York, I think.
Harpy is a name. Often, more often than not, the preferred term is herald.
What kind of a word is herald? Anyway.
An old word.
I digress. It's just a matter of, if you ask the Harpy, so I want to get in touch with this person, they maybe have this connection that I want to, foster, it's they ain't gonna listen to little old me, because I'm a nobody. I'm just Frankie.
You're just Frankie.
That's all.
But something that you could easily understand, I think, Frankie, is all about who you know.
It is. It's like some darn like pyramid scheme or something. You gotta know people who's gonna sell you the right shit, so that you can then tell other schmucks that they can buy and make the big bucks with this shit.
So, knowing your skills, who do you know, Frankie?
Who do I know? Well, I know the guys that you met the other day, which was Jimmy, Carter, and Ivy. Occasionally you do a thing or two for them, and they do a thing or two for me. You scratch my back, I scratch yours, sort of a deal. Carter probably the one whom I spend a lot of the time, going back and forth with. I've met Blaine. He kind of runs the maintenance of this place. He's kind of a young kid, tattoos and shit. It's not my thing, but tweets their own. I met a couple of others like Danny and Monty. They were It was the other night that they were, telling me about some kind of a club that they like to go to, or some shit. Trying to get me to join their club or whatever. I was like, nah, it's not my game. And aside from that, I met Gerard. He's I don't know, fuddy duddy. He kind of weird. I don't know. Really about it. It's really about all I know. Aside from you, Toots.
Well, Gerard is definitely a good start. Gerard knows most people around the area. I think, though, for
he
someone
gets
like
around
you,
for a guy who's not exactly the biggest people person.
I know it's a surprise, isn't it?
But
Although,
you piss him off, he got the shortest temper I ever did see.
yes,
You don't want to be in the line of fire when that guy goes off.
I watched him destroy an entire server room. Impressive stuff.
Hot damn. And hard drives are not breakable. There's 30 shit. Server rooms are made of, got racks made of steel and shit.
Tell me, Frankie, would you be interested in perhaps meeting a few more kindred around?
Like who? Like who should I know?
For one, you should probably meet our lovely sheriff.
The sheriff. Yeah, he's the one who was the big cop boss.
Mr. Raphael Singleton.
Sheriff. Shit. Wait. Hold on. I thought his title was Hound. Am I wrong?
Sorry, no, not sheriff. Hound, that was my slip up. So our hound is Mr. Raphael Singleton.
Yeah, I've been told to stay out of his hair because he kind of runs the sort of law and order of this place.
He does. Makes him very handy to know.
Well, I kind of tend to steer away from coppers because, I don't want them peeking in on what little bit of a business I might have on the side, hustling and bustling.
He's not a police officer. He's not going to book you for anything illegal. The only thing he's going to do is wipe you off the face of the planet if you happen to get caught in this business. And she taps her fang.
Oh, well, I know how to keep my, a little bit of, kind of head underwater, or, stay out of people's way, that kind of a thing. I've figured out exactly how it is that I'm gonna go about making, my meals of the day, my meal ticket, and all of that. So, I think I'm pretty set. If I stay out of his hair and he doesn't ever come my way, I got nothing to worry about.
Even still, I'm sure even you can see how interesting and good it would be to know somebody on a much higher level.
No, from what I understand, we're barely even people in this whole goddamn thing, so...
Being that, as it were, wouldn't it be good to have somebody higher up being able to see you as a person?
And know exactly who I am so they can wipe me off the face of the earth quicker? No, thank you. The gesture's very appreciated, I get it, but, I'm not exactly looking to stick my head in a noose.
Is that what you think is going to happen?
Well, I don't know. I ain't got nobody to really guide me in that kind of a way, so I guess I'm on my own. If Gerard says, keep your nose clean, kid, then I'm gonna do that.
Keeping your nose clean is good.
And he told me exactly what that means, and that's by, cleaning up your messes and watching your P's and Q's.
The other person that would be good to know is the one that owns this place.
You mean Dorian?
Yes, exactly.
Well, you mentioned him, so I figured.
Have you had a chance to actually have a conversation with him yet?
No. I've seen him walking around a couple of times. Kind of checking in or whatever. He seems to be more interested in talking to Blaine, and I'll let him do his thing.
Well, Dorian is quite busy.
Which,
I believe you and him can certainly see eye to eye on certain things.
is he gonna judge me for being, a half-blood or whatever?
From what I've seen so far, so long as you treat him with respect, he'll return the favor.
I'll give it a shot. I'm not gonna say the one way or the other whether I might have liked the guy or not.
You don't have to like him.
But, being... Do I have to kiss his boots or something? Somebody
Kiss
called
his boot?
Somebody called somebody else a bootlicker once.
Where did you hear that?
I think Carter was saying it about Gerard once. Some kind of bootlicker.
Sorry, who was saying it about Gerard?
Carter. I didn't know what he was fucking talking about. I just kind of it's like, whatever, kid.
Interesting terminology to use. I wonder what gave him that impression.
Hell if I know. I don't even know the whole situation at all. If you want... I feel like shit for ratting him out. I'm a fucking snitch at this point.
Not snitching.
Well, if you go asking him questions about why'd you call Gerard a bootlicker, he's gonna wonder who told, and you're gonna say it was Frankie, and then I'm gonna be, eating shit for the rest of 2 weeks.
Frankie, I've got more tact than that. Don't look at me like that, Derek.
All right. What? You never heard the term bootlicker before? I'm surprised.
I mean, I have, but it seems odd to be used in terms of Gerard.
I don't know what it means. Your guess is as good as mine.
Fair enough.
I'm just here to survive. I'm just here to live. I'm just here to mind my own business. And if everybody else minds their own business and doesn't bother me none, I'm perfectly fine never meeting a soul in my life. I'm happy.
You never want to meet a soul in your life, no matter how long it might end up being.
Well, there might be the time and the place when, I get the balls to actually go up to somebody and say, hey, how you doing? I ain't got the balls right now. Not with the way that people are talking these days about, people starving and, having to go hungry from night to night, finding it hard to, get a drink here and there. When I heard about what happened to Monty and to what's his face, Danny.
What happened to them?
Kids was just out walking, and then somebody up and jumped them, and then
Truly,
that's what I heard. And having generally just met these kids just a couple of nights ago, you think you know a guy.
Is there any indication on who might have done it?
I mean, all I heard was that they got mushed.
Mushed.
Mushed. Like turned to paste. Like somebody done split them in half or something. Or ripped their faces off. Or a combination of both. I don't know. I never saw them. I swear to God I didn't do it.
Just out of curiosity, where was it that you heard this from?
It's kind of a rumor going around.
Any idea where they might have come from?
I think a couple of Danny and Monty's buddies, those two were connected to the hip from what I know. And a couple of their friends, heard about it. And I heard about it from them. And where they heard it from, who knows. But this is the suburbs. Nobody's got anything better to do than to gossip about each other.
I mean, that's true.
So.
But, sometimes rumors have power.
Hey, if that counts as rent.
I'm not collecting rent. I'm just talking to you.
Oh. Then what am I spilling my guts here for?
I don't know. I would, however, like to put you in contact with Dory.
Oh, he's gonna be
and
asking
actually
for similar things, or what? Like
likely
a direct
with the
contact?
other gentleman that I run with. Yes. I'm sure you could make use of it.
Alright. If you insist. I mean,
Would you like to accompany me?
You mean actually go somewhere? I thought you were just going to give me his number or something.
Unfortunately, that is not in my purview.
How in the world do you function without a phone?
Quite well. Phones tend to get quite messy.
Look, I gotta have my contact list, and I don't know all those numbers by heart. I ain't going nowhere without my phone.
True. Some things we do through technology, but anything regarding this life, generally best kept away.
Good to know.
You see, there are some humans that aren't comfortable with it.
I get that that's a euphemism. As in, it's not exactly an uncomfortableness, it's like something more because you're being vague.
Let's just say we've had times where those of our ilk have been taken and had their lives ended.
You think that might have happened with Danny and Monty?
No. However, just keeping things to do with this life off of technology is a good way to avoid that.
Look, if they was messing with things that they shouldn't have been, glad I don't know them. Glad I'm not associated.
Fair enough. But would you perhaps be interested in networking with some associates of mine?
So that's what we're calling it now. Ayo.
Surely you can see the use in that.
Well, yeah. I know what networking is.
Alex is actually going to shoot a text message through to Shriek
Okay.
and to Dorian.
Okay.
And she'll actually probably throw one through to Aaron saying, would you guys be interested in meeting someone?
Well, since we are moving to Aaron or Dorian next, how would the three of you reply? This short time.
I can fit. I can say I can put it. I can fit it in tonight.
Okay.
I ain't got a phone, so.
Oh yeah,
No,
Aaron.
but Shriek
Oh,
does.
that's right.
You were last spotted with him, so
True indeed. So, Shriek,
if only you had a secretary as hot as me.
Yes, y'all were together last when you were fading, so Shriek, you would get a text message from Alex saying, do you want to meet someone?
Well, the queen bitch is asking for us to end up having an audience. Hopefully this is important.
He says to Aaron.
I'm sure Aaron will continue to end up driving right along the way.
Oh, Fuck, you're still here? Damn.
Damn.
You didn't move for so damn long, I forgot you were there.
Should they all agree, Alex is going to set up the meeting for her.
Meeting place is her shop after you've run your errands. So, Dorian.
Yes.
You were meeting up with someone tonight too, weren't you?
Yeah, I can either do this and do the other thing next week, or I can meet with Gerard tonight.
We were going to do meeting with Gerard, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, so let's jump over to that. So where are you meeting Gerard?
Well, I only know of one place to find him.
And that's the bar he frequents?
Pretty much. I'm pretty sure he's worn an ass groove into that one booth.
You're probably not wrong. Alright, so you walk into that bar, and what do you know? He is sitting right where it is that you have always spotted him. And he seems to be sipping a drink with, just kind of watching the room for the moment. Seems to be watching whatever sports game is on the TV at the moment.
I'll go up to the bar and order a nice bourbon, and walk up to Gerard's table and greet him.
Howdy.
Gerard, you mind if I sit and have a chat?
You can sit and have a chat with me if you like, yeah?
Thank you. I'll slide in, and I'm going to blush of life so I can actually sit and sip my bourbon. Because that's something that he misses.
Yep, go ahead and rouse for it, my friend. You get a little hungrier. The thing that you want to sip on is more of a vein of somebody who's sitting at the bar right now instead of this bourbon, because as soon as the bourbon touches your tongue, even though you've blush of life, it still turns to sawdust and ash in your mouth.
I'm sitting there smelling it. You know,
To what
this
do
is
I owe
one
this?
thing I miss.
Whiskey?
Yeah, good whiskey.
Well, can't say that I was ever a fan of the stuff, but, to To each their own.
Everybody has that one thing.
To me, it was deer jerky. Homemade.
Oh, I imagine you could flavor it however you want.
Yeah, miss it sometimes.
Just simple things.
But you came here with a purpose, it looks like, because you came walking straight to the bar and then straight to me, so... To what do I owe this pleasure, Mr. Resner?
Well, I wanted to get your thoughts on something.
My thoughts on something. Okay.
I'm making moves to protect this domain and the people in it.
Okay.
And when I'm done, someone's going to have to take over. Someone that people trust. Here.
What do you...
Someone that can actually get stuff done.
Wait, hold on. What are you insinuating?
I don't like our current Primogen.
No shit.
I'm working to get rid of him. Prove that he's inept.
That's bold.
Worthless.
Don't let anybody else hear you say that out loud.
It's not a secret right now. But I can understand. But...
Great. Okay. So...
I want to see us actually survive and thrive. As opposed to getting huddled into killing each other off or getting cold.
Well, yeah, that would be ideal. I mean, the whole having to watch your back sort of a thing is not exactly new to me, but it's new to some of these other kids. You know, paranoia and all that other bullshit that comes with being what we are.
The only thing about this domain is it's not a place that anybody wants to take care of.
Yeah, because what are you gonna do with it? Aside from, I mean, I heard that you had put in a lot of money to get a condo place built up in what, a week?
And
which everybody's noticed.
I've also opened up some attractions to try to draw in some more of the locals. Try to solve our population problem.
Attractions.
Yeah, and I'll name the bar. I forget what I called it.
Oh, okay. So you're trying to get in the young bucks with the drinking problems.
Well, during the day, it's a place where everybody can go with their families, and later at night, more adults looking for fun. You're not going to get too many clubbers and stuff here, the kind of businesses I usually run.
Yeah. I mean, I guess you're not wrong in that case.
I had to try to find something that would appeal to people in this area, as opposed to, it's not one size fits all.
So you're kind of taking the typical venture road of trying to just add more people on top of more people.
Well, there's not enough to go around, or can't hurt. And if we can develop and cultivate, things will get better.
And primarily the people who live here are the ones who commute.
Yeah.
Commute to Dallas, or they commute to Fort Worth and go to their day-to-day jobs and then come back home and sit on the couch and watch whatever the fuck.
Mm-hmm. That's why I want to
They
start
don't even
bringing
use
in other
cable
things.
anymore. You know that?
Yeah, it's all like
It's
internet
all
streaming
digital
things.
something.
Yeah. I never was much for TV.
No, you're
If
one
I
of
was
those
sitting
types.
there.
Huh.
Yeah,
I
if
grew
I
up on 3 channels.
No, I was always busy doing stuff.
Oh. Yeah, well, it was the 3 channels or go outside, so that was my choices growing up. But I grew up in an age where that's perfectly acceptable these days. Or those days. It's kind of not anymore, but that's a whole nother can of worms. And we're not talking about that. We're talking about the fact that you want the Primogen, long may he reign, to not be in his current seat. And from what I'm understanding, you're wanting to put me in that seat.
You are one of the candidates that I think could actually do the job.
Wow.
People trust you.
That may be the case, but I'm no leader. Never have been.
Yeah, but from what I can see, you actually kind of give a shit and want to see things actually run okay.
Well, I'm not exactly the kind of person who's gonna sit back and watch, anyone of any higher power, whether that's, you know, a kindred over a thin blood, or whether that's, a, whatever the fuck, I'm not gonna let the little guy get stomped on.
Here's the thing. When I look around at our domain, all I see is stagnancy and waste. I don't like that. It's something I can't stand.
Stagnancy and waste.
When people look at thin bloods, they look at them as some kind of less than or abomination. Instead, they should be asking, what could they be good for? Everybody has a purpose. Everybody has a talent. Everybody has a niche.
Unless you believe the apocalypse thing. And most
I don't know.
of the old fogies in the entirety of the world believe that the thin bloods are the sign of the end times.
Yeah, well, they might be a sign of the end times, but I don't. What are they going to do? Explode or something? I don't think. That's
Heck if I know.
that kind. Yeah,
That's
that kind
beyond.
of shit. Yeah,
I'm
that
not.
kind of shit is above my pay grade if it's real, and I'll deal with what I can see in front of me first.
Well, there's occultists out there who'd probably tell you otherwise, but we're not going to argue whether that's the truth or not. We're going to
Yeah.
argue the fact that the thin bloods are not even considered Camarilla, so therefore aren't protected, and you are under no obligation to protect them any more than I am.
Yet I spent millions of dollars to house them. I think they could still be useful.
That's your thousands of dollars to do with what you please. That's always been the Venture way, hasn't it?
I just saw a problem and started creating solutions.
And that is applaudable. But what about are those apartments also going to be affordable for the homeless?
Yes, they are going to basically, and he'll rattle off like how it's going to
How it's
work.
going to work, yeah.
Now for Kindred, or well, I'm assuming we're talking low and we're away from everybody.
Yeah.
Now for Kindred, money's not the problem. What I want are us working together. I want ears to the ground. I want to know what's going on in our domain.
And that's how you want people to pay rent.
I'd rather have us working together.
Some of these kids are barely able to feed themselves. So
yeah,
you're going to have to, be a little lenient with how much information you're expecting from each individual. Because, yeah, they're walking around learning stuff from all the kind world, people they interact with, however the fuck they feed. But you're not going to get a whole lot of kindred info, and I can tell you that.
Well, here's the thing. If they know something, they can tell me. Maybe I need help watching something. Maybe little favors here and there. That's easy to pay. Money's not the problem. Getting everybody on the same page is.
I'm just trying to tell you what to expect.
I know. I'm not expecting every one of these kids to be Sherlock Holmes and omnipotent. But
some have.
I'm a realist. I want to find out what these kids are good for and get them sustained and actually ingrained where they can be useful.
And if they're not?
I refuse to think that anybody has no use. No. Everybody has a talent.
It's just a matter of finding it, but how long are you willing to wait an eternity? That's just the question here, because some of them will take an eternity to figure that out.
Well,
I'm just pointing out problems that could come up later.
I understand. And I thank you for that.
I mean, I'm old enough to know some of how this works.
Yeah. I would rather us working Jesus. Together.
Now, if you want leadership material, it's too bad he doesn't stay here permanently. I'd look at Luca.
I don't think I've ever met him.
You've never met Luca?
No.
Yeah. Next time he's in town, I'll introduce him. But he's only got a ranch here. He's not exactly here all of the time.
Yeah.
Did you know that the cowboys practice on his ranch? I did not know that until he told me, a couple of weeks ago?
Like, we talking football, or we talking, like,
football.
Rodeo?
Like the Cowboys.
Huh. You know, it might be worth meeting this man.
I mean, if that's piqued your interest.
Well, I'm always for meeting someone new.
But as far as
connections are all we have and can build on.
So, in regards to my own skill set, I'm good as, the guy who's maybe the one to spread some info around and maybe, jump onto some things when things get a little, crazy. Like, you want to go down into a crypt and kill another kindred, for instance. Jump into a black hole, sort of a thing. To save someone. Someone important to you. I'm that guy. I'm not exactly the leadership type.
Well,
push comes to shove, I'll direct someone here, I'll direct someone there, but permanent? Nah, you got the wrong guy.
Well, you are the only person that I know that people trust around here. The problem is nobody wants that job.
Of course they don't. You think
And
anybody wants a
I don't
shithole?
want. And if you don't want to take it, then the only other person that I know that I can would be me. I don't want to. I'm not trying to set up a kingdom to rule over.
No, of course not.
But
Then
it's
how
going to
about
come
that,
off that way.
how about that clanmate of yours, Jade? She's been looking for some opportunities.
I have to come to terms with her. She doesn't like me for some reason, and I gotta figure out why.
That's your beef to resolve with her. She's
Oh,
got
I
a
know.
cool head on her shoulders, and she's got the know-how to do it.
Well,
And given that her sire was someone who participated in some kind of coup, wink, wink.
Well,
And
I might talk to her.
I'm the Bruja who came from an independent state. She just throwing ideas out there.
I might have to talk to her. It's gonna be. It's something I've been meaning to do anyways.
No, but you've been avoiding her like the plague because you said she doesn't like you and you don't want to step on toes.
No. I haven't been avoiding her. I've just been busy. There's priorities.
Also called avoiding. Look, you're a nice enough kid. I know when people are avoiding each other. So, whatever beef you have with her, whatever beef she has with you, you're gonna have to settle it. Because she may be just the one.
We'll see. Either way, the biggest thing I came here was just looking for another ally that wants to see this place actually survive.
I'm not in it for this place.
Well, we're all stuck here.
You got it all wrong if you think I'm the one to be about places. I'm about people.
When I missaid that, I meant I want all of us to survive.
Survive, thrive. You've thrown around a lot of words.
Because, well, to be honest, the way it's set up right now, we're either going to kill each other off or eventually something's going to happen and we're all going to get purged again. And that's what I'm trying to avoid. I'll be frank. I can see the writing on the wall. And that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to change fate. At least I'm not going to go down without trying.
Well, you have fun building your apartments, and I'll put people in it.
If you can, just, if you see things that can be improved or need to be done, just get in contact with me. like I said, we all need to work together if we're going to survive this.
I am fully aware of that.
I'm glad we're on the same page, at least on that side. In the same way, if you needs anything. You know, we gotta help each other out at this point.
No, I think I'm good.
I didn't think you would, but
Mm.
you know, there's always that one time everybody back gets put against the wall at some point, and they gotta have someone to call.
My back ain't up against the wall just yet. And I'm not exactly the one to go down without a fight either.
Of that, I have very little doubt. Thank you for your time, Gerard.
You're welcome for a time.
Yeah, keep me posted. And he'll get up and, like, hold his hand out to shake his hand.
I'll do what I can. And he reaches out a hand and shakes yours.
That's all I can ask. And Dorian will turn and walk out.
All right. Dorian walks out, having left Gerard to do whatever it is that Gerard is going to do, which shortly after you leave, he does leave himself. So, I believe it is next to find out what Aaron was up to. Aaron, where are you going and who are you meeting up with?
Well, I was going to go and speak with my buddy Cash.
Ah, yes, lovely friend Cash. Where are you meeting Cash?
I think it would be mighty fine if we happened to meet at a local bar. I think that sounds lovely.
All right, all right. Well,
Of course, honestly, it's probably more like I drove on by, picked him up, and dragged him out with me. But
yeah, quite possibly. You never know these sort of things. So you are meeting up with Cash, and he does meet up with you. He does seem just to, have his head a little bit on a swivel, but not by a whole lot. He's just keeping an eye out for anyone who might spot him.
I'm sure he is. Decide to sit down, I'll go ahead and gonna do that there little blush and laugh bit. So I actually want to drink with my bud. I am hungry.
Mm-hmm.
Sad.
Indeed.
Sad.
Sag. Yes, get a little hungrier, but it's worth it to spend some time with a good buddy of yours. A good buddy of yours who spent some time with the FBI for all intents and purposes. Maybe has been a kind of a contractor, a driver, a sort of everyman, sort of a person. And he walks up with you towards wherever you're gonna sit, whether it's at a table or at the bar or something to that effect. And he just kind of Just kind of sits next to you and just kind of breathes a little bit of a sigh of relief.
I tap the table. 2 Guinness. Right here. For the
And-
barman to bring it.
Yep. And they are brought over to you, and Cash takes a pretty big swig of the Guinness as it's brought out, and kind of just relaxes just a little bit. So how things?
Oh, you know, keep him busy.
Yeah.
Got a couple presents for you, but figured I might as well catch up with you, see what's going on. How you holding up?
I'm okay, actually. I think I'm okay. I'm just taking it in. Just like I don't know. It's just I don't exactly know how to explain it.
Still a little paranoid, it looks like.
Oh, maybe a little. Things have actually been kind of good.
Good. Good. Glad to hear it. What? Anything particular change? I feel like this is a whole 180 from where he was.
Well, yeah, because in that particular case, the blank that we were going to be taking to back to Langley. He kind of looks around like he's been a little paranoid. You know how all of that fell through, and I barely got out with my life because there were others that were chasing after the van. But Talia has been making strides.
Huh.
I think we're on a really good trail, and we're
Is that so?
I mean,
It's good to
I
hear.
can't really divulge any like anything really more than that, but it would make your pops proud.
Think you're gonna be able to nail some of them suckers?
I think we're gonna be able to do more than that.
He raises an eyebrow as he goes ahead and takes a swig.
Yeah, there was this whole operation that went down in Detroit where they were doing studies on them, blanks,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, I think we're gonna be able to implement some of that here. I've already said too much, and it's only because you're family.
You know I'll keep it to my chest. Studies, huh? He looks into the Guinness, just kind of swirls the glass, contemplative. You know, my father always told me that studies were never necessarily a good idea. Sure, you can catch them, but really it's only a matter of time before that ends up backfiring somehow. It's always the same story, it goes on through the ages. Grab a hold of them, put them in a cage, throw some sticks in them. Inevitably, something's gonna go wrong. When it goes wrong, either you're prepared to put them down, or it comes back to bite you in the ass. His expression goes sullen at that. I'd be lying if I didn't say I was a little afraid. His Uncle Harry was thinking the same thing.
Yeah, I get that, and Harry's family to me too. I'm gonna miss him, and I want to do right by him. I want to make him proud. I want to make your pops proud. I want to make you proud of me. I want to be a hunter, Aaron. Like a true, real hunter. I can't just run away from this shit. Not when Harry gave his life for this. Not when Kyra gave her life for this.
Cash.
Dahlia's asking for recruits. And I think I'm gonna join up.
No. Don't do it, please.
Why not? This is all you ever talked about. How much?
It's all I've ever known, Cash. It's all I've ever lived. I do it because I don't know how to function any other way. Look, my pops, he was a good man in his own way, but when it comes down to it, he didn't know jack shit about raising kids. So he didn't raise a kid, he fucking raised a serial killer with a different target, okay? The thing is that you don't want to be like me. You don't want to be like Uncle Harry.
Yes, I do.
No, you don't, because he's dead, Cash. And I don't want you dead. Can you get that through your fucking head? Please. I need you. And I need you to remind me how I'm supposed to be a person.
What do you mean by remind you to be a person?
I live in my truck, Cash. I don't talk to people. I don't make friends. So when it gets down to it, the only thing I know how to do is hunt. That's not living. There's no glory in that. There's no pride or greatness to it. Not in the way you think it is. You think it is because you got to live watching television. You got to live going on dates. You got to live enjoying nice restaurants and the couch and video games, and I didn't. I would trade you in a heartbeat if I could, but it gets down to it, I don't want this for anyone else. You put yourself out there. Fact of the being is, you're putting yourself out there for far worse than just blowing some suckers up.
But they killed our family, Aaron. I have to do something.
You ain't doing shit. I made this decision already. He's gonna pull out the fake ID, slide it over across the bar to him.
You already told me that you were getting that.
It's done.
And if I don't take it?
You're taking it. You don't get to make a decision on this, Cash.
What are you fucking doing? What, are you the fucking boss of me now? I'm a fucking adult. I make my own damn decisions. I'm not the same kid
No.
you used to know when we were kids.
And I'm living in Uncle Harry's legacy. I am his will. Do you understand that?
Then why not join Talia? If you don't want me to join her, why don't you?
Because you gotta start asking whether or not her best interests are in favor of people.
There
Or
are
she's just another tool.
vampires out there, Aaron. And they're covering it up.
You know why? You do understand why the Winters don't work directly with the Vatican, with the FBI, with any of that shit, right? Why we are not a part of them. It's a decentralized unit. Cash.
Always wanted to be independent, yeah.
The whole point of it is that fundamentally it ensures that there is no greater governing power. And by extension, no greater corrupting force. You say something's covering up. Who do you think is doing that? It's not just the suckers.
What, you got some kind of conspiracy theory that the government's doing it too?
I don't have a conspiracy theory, Cash. I know it's being done.
How do you know?
Because how else are you gonna deal with the casualties? How else are you gonna control the population? How else are you gonna manage everyone knowing? How do you manage people knowing there's something like that out in the streets?
Because maybe it's just that big.
Do you look at criminals? Do you look at the cartel and you think, I can handle this?
If they're as big as a cartel.
You have to assume that they work in the same way. That's... Gosh, God damn, this is exactly what I'm talking about. You don't know what you're getting into. You don't.
Then I'm gonna learn.
No. You're not gonna learn, because you are better to all of this. Being away from it.
Look, I know you're well-intentioned, Aaron. But
Give me your wallet, Cash.
no.
Give me your wallet.
No, I'm sorry. And he gets up to walk out.
Aaron throws some money, like the last of his money, down onto the counter, grabs the fake ID, and he follows him. When he does, once they exit, he's just gonna grab Cash's arm and drag him around the building, throw him against the wall.
He's looking at you scared now.
And I'm gonna go ahead. I hate this. I hate this. This is a bad situation.
Aaron, you're hurting me.
I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna pop some of the shadow cloak specifically for intimidation.
Mm.
The alley grows dark. The light fixtures, like street lights, flicker just down either way of the alley. And the bar lights seem to flicker a bit behind us that have lit up the alleyway in its passage. Aaron, it feels like he hovers tremendously over Cash, and I'm just gonna use. I know I'm gonna use intimidation. What's the main attribute?
If you're just trying to get him to cower and do as you say, that is going to be a. Let me look at it. I'm gonna say charisma, intimidation,
Charisma.
because you're not. Well, you're kind of lying, so maybe a manipulation. So your choice: charisma or manipulation, intimidation.
One of these is better than the other.
To get him to
Easy.
to cower. So which one do you use? And I'll flavor it that way.
I'm using manipulation.
Manipulation. Okay. Okay.
Oh, yeah. That I think that.
Four's pretty good.
You know,
Four's pretty
it's
good
decent.
versus a human.
Yeah.
Yep.
And what I'm gonna say is, Cash, you're gonna give me your fucking wallet. I'm gonna take your ID. You're gonna put this one in. You're gonna leave this fucking state, because what is coming next, you will not survive. I need to make this excruciatingly clear. I will be there. And if I have to fucking see you anywhere near that, I will be the one to fucking gun you down.
And he looks genuinely scared of you at the moment. Fine. Fine. Just stop. You're hurting me.
He lets him go. And holds out his hand.
And
Give me your wallet.
he just gives you the wallet.
Takes it out. Puts in the replacement. Claps it shut. Hands it back to him.
Okay. Right. Okay.
You leave tomorrow. No ifs, ands, or buts I see you anywhere in this city.
What's gotten into you?
How appropriate. Sorry, there's fireworks going on in the background and it's scaring me. He doesn't even answer that question.
Okay. Can I go now?
Get. Go on, get.
And he just starts darting off. He doesn't even bother trying to find his car. He just bolts.
Aaron stands and watches him for a moment. Makes sure he, at the very least, gets to his vehicle, leaves as normal. Once he sees that Cash is gone, he's gonna lean against the alleyway, a brick wall to his back. Scrunches the furrow of his brow, his two fingers, and it's pensive for a moment. Because he doesn't. I don't want to hurt him. I don't want to be like this. Because at the end of the day, Cash is... Quite simply, he's all I got left of Uncle Harry. I said that I am his will and his legacy, but that's wrong. Cash is. He always was. The right-hand man. As much as I wish that I could be a better man to him in this instance, that I could actually be on the other side and support him, lead him through it, I can't. And I can't allow anyone else to get a hold of him either. I won't. Not another fucking kindred. Not the Second Inquisition. Bureaus. The Vaticans. I won't even let myself.
And I think we'll finish up the night with Shriek. Shriek, my darling, where are you and where are you going?
Well, it's a better question than I thought it was going to be asked. But then again, I thought I was going to be asked, who's my daddy and what does he do? At this point, I'm presented with a lot of different options, and as far as I understand it, a little bit of time between myself and when I need to get involved with Alex. Alex did end up calling us all over. Expect that'll take a few minutes. So I'm gonna end up getting in touch with Madame. The only person I can be open with. Because the reality is that, well, as kindred, we don't have a lot of people we can spill our guts to. You know, anytime we get close to somebody, we want to have to end up pushing them away because they might get caught up in it. That's the worst part of it, really. It's that we have to end up keeping that a distance from everything we might care about. Eventually, you start teaching yourself not to care. Because it's safer that way. Ain't that irony delicious? That's not the only thing. See, not too long ago, I was just informed, and I just used the information to end up buying Aaron his ticket. His ticket to end up rising to giddy heights within the Camarilla. Despite the fact he is what he is. But I know somebody else is also connected to that little bit of information. And that's Madame. She's with the Thin Bloods. Though she ends up holding herself perhaps to a higher standard of etiquette. Might be her upbringing, might be the fact that she's been passed around like a $2 whore as a ghoul in service to various kindred, and I've made her a promise that she will only have to deal with me as the final one. And there's a part of me that's trying to remind myself to go through with that. Because it's just too damn easy when they're dependent on you. Madame's taste of my blood, the blood bond keeps her loyal to an extent. She loves me as a form of obsession while keeping a professional approach. Because the blood commands her to do so. Strangely enough, that kind of power tends to make people vulnerable. Who the fuck am I supposed to say, am I the exception? Hardly. We'll call her down. And I'm waiting. I'm waiting with a bit of a patience as I look at my own hand. It's still being stitched up. Even now, I can see the vitae starting to bring the skin back into formation. I can feel the bones feeling like the cartilage is growing back, flexibility coming back. I am exhausted. I haven't stopped. I haven't stopped since this whole thing started. I don't know what to say or do anymore. It's like I don't know how to breathe unless I'm already drowning. So I wait.
Before too long, she arrives at the point at which you agreed to meet. Looking rather hearty, as it would, as she can be. Still, maybe a little stiff from her injuries, but healing nonetheless.
It's good to see you've recovered.
It's good to see that you have too. To a degree.
Only in the way people notice.
That's the important part, right?
Appearances do matter a lot in our line of work.
Can't let
Though
anyone
I
know
wish I
that
can.
You're in shambles.
Well, I play it off quite beautifully. Being in shambles also has its advantages. You don't trust on other people's sympathies, but you do trust on their reliance on trying to pretend to be sympathetic. Especially in our wondrous court. Our prince has made a reputation for himself. One that he probably wants to play down just a little bit, if only to keep the masses in tow. Madame, you are ingrained in the thin blood population of this domain.
To a certain degree, yes.
He gestures for her to sit with him.
And she does. Almost happily. Just kind of smiling brightly as you look at her, as ask her to sit with you.
I have to remind myself that that's the blood. That look right there. She's just happy to be in my presence. The blood compels it. So why is it that I have a hesitation in saying what is about to leave my lips?
Perhaps it's because there is a thread of genuineness. Maybe there is an underlying thread. Maybe she does actually care. Maybe she knows it's the blood that's talking, but maybe she doesn't mind.
No, don't start thinking like that. That's how this starts. Keep it to the promise. Keep it to the promise. Gotta remind myself. I look down at the floor after looking at my own hand, staring at the wet concrete cracks. I just came across some information that I thought you should know.
She kind of sits up a little straight.
Monty Freeman and Danny Clark are no longer with us.
That's unfortunate. They were good kids. What happened?
Don't know the details. Oh, it has something to do with a Nosferatu named Fernando.
Fernando. I know him. Very strong, very much a... Well, let's just say that if it wasn't for him, myself and Colette wouldn't have been able to make it out of San Antonio. The only members of our coterie to survive.
Well then, you should also know that he's probably going to be drafted by our hound for a very dangerous outing in the near future. His way of forced apologies. You know, the kind of thing that makes this city go round.
Dare I ask what kind of dangerous situation?
The kind where the less you know, the better off you are.
Understood.
I'm not here to put you in harm's way, madame. I'm sure enough people have done that enough to you.
It's appreciated.
Probably just me trying to end up playing to some vain hope of sympathy. Maybe I'm just... He shakes his head as he tries to dispel the thought. I'm not sure on how things are going to play out, madame. It feels like the right play. I look around and I see it. See all the little strings, all the little lies, all the hidden truths, all coming together. I'm watching and I'm seeing it play out like music, like perfect tempo. Just makes me feel all good about it. So why does it feel so rotten? I have the ear of a very wealthy businessman who is indebted. I have the ability to sway the hound whichever way I want. I have now 5 kindred who are entirely indebted to me. I feel like I'm grasping the rug and ready to pull it out from everybody.
But you're hesitating.
It's not perfect yet. They're all looking, trying to figure out who should be primogenitor next.
Is that what would make it perfect?
No. But it would be a hell of a start. Because they don't recognize it. They think that this domain operates like any other. Let's all play by the rules. I know better. Truth is that most of this domain is back dealings. Most of this domain is just trying to get by.
Because if anyone did anything out in the open, they would be stopped by every kindred in the rest of this city. You can't do that. You can't do this. You can't make your problems go away just by adding this or that to the domain. You're not allowed.
But everybody's got rules they have to play by. And I know those rules. I know how to make it work. But they won't know. The blue blood won't know. The whole reason is Kondo shtick works. Is I'm tying up everybody in so many knots that he seems like something that could be ignored. I don't know that it's that little bit of information I sold that lets the warlock keep her little bookshop. She doesn't know I ended up selling her sire out just to make sure she's still alive. She doesn't know I'm gonna end up selling her sister out just so that they have a chance. She doesn't know I tangle with the devil so that she might have a chance to see God again. He doesn't know that I'm trying to give him a sense of purpose before it all falls apart. Because I think that when he looks in the mirror, a sense of hypocrisy, it comes over him and he throws up in his mouth just a little bit. Because eventually he's going to have to kill somebody he called brother. I'm going to have to play the villain to convince somebody that I'm the good guy. I'm gonna have to be a punching bag to end up, and it'll probably kill me just to end up getting a leash of something that should have never been. Big as he is. I have to look over it all and figure out how all the pieces tie together and thread the needle in a way that makes it all work out in the end.
But that's not the role you want.
It's the role I was born to play. It's the role I was made to play.
You want center stage. You want them all to know.
But they can't.
Not till it's over.
No, not ever. They can't know. Because if I did, it would undermine everything. It's the illusion of choice. The illusion that they made it on their own. That's the important thing. Because the truth will set them free of their little immortal coil. And then what? They drag her, kicking and screaming, back to her chantry. And let her know what kind of a real screw-up she is, rather than giving a chance to spread her wings. Or maybe he'll end up realizing that for every bit of good he tries to throw out, it turns rotten. And sows the seeds that eventually make him paranoid as he wonders who will betray him next. Maybe the little bit of soul that's left in this soulless hunter finally gets the realization that it all doesn't matter. Burns it all to the ground because now he's got the weapon of the enemy and the training of a legacy of killers. Maybe that would be the most heartbreaking thing. No, I've never been much for horror stories. It was more of a romantic, really. I know, shock.
Shocker.
Things like me, I can't be around anywhere for long before it all starts falling apart. And that includes the limelight. So I have to be quiet. I have to move the pawns. Make everybody feel like they're free. And that we can all come together, because that's the thing. It's power's an illusion.
Yes, it is.
But that illusion itself is the thing that is sacred. That's what the real lesson is of the first tradition. Masquerade. Don't let the kind know. Let them keep their illusions. It's not just for our safety, it's for theirs. The same is true inside the Camarilla.
Because if they knew the truth, they would be heartbroken. Same is true for you. But I see you. I see a man trying his best not to break his coteries' heart. Because he really does care about them.
I'll pull every dirty trick I have to. Every one. Because in the end, I'm the only one who can take it. You got guys who are made tougher. Maytag was made tougher. You got some who were made smarter. The Warlock certainly does. Maybe you got the status, the wealth, the flex. Maybe you got the skills to pay the bills. But they don't got what I got. And I envy them for that.
Well,
Go ahead.
One thing that they don't have that you do is me. And she takes her hand in hers. You're not alone, Shriek. You have
Not
me.
yet. Not yet. But when this is all over, I will be. Because my promise will be fulfilled. And you won't have to be what you are anymore.
I'm still not sure that I understand.
I said I'd made a promise that your nights of being passed around and being of thin blood will be over. I keep my promises. Even if I don't know how to pull them off all the time.
Well, until such a time. And maybe even after. By choice. Someone needs to look after you.
If they needed to, then I broke the illusion. That illusion is the thing that's so important.
It was never an illusion with me. Was there? You were always upfront and honest. As was I.
And we can't be sure if that's you or the blood talking. And the more you convince yourself you know the difference, the more of a hold it has on you. I'm not a stranger to it either.
Perhaps you're right. Perhaps there is a bit of crossover there. I know what the blood does. I was sucking on it from my my first for many, many years. With each diameter, it's different, but still has the same core effects. But, blood or not, we are bound, and I will do everything that I can to make sure that you have everything that you need to make this show a grand epic. Because you deserve that much. It will go without a hitch. I'll make sure of it. You have my promise.
Shriek thinks to himself. The promise of a blood-bound thin blood. What's that really worth? The idea of taking center stage? Darling, that is laughable. She wants to read into this the idea that Shriek could end up taking center stage in the way that he wants desperately. It's a fight between his mind and his heart. Oh, how the heart longs for the limelight, to showcase his own brilliance, his play, to stand before and take a bow. The sound of roaring applause. But his mind knows better. For everything to work, secrets and silence. Never let them know your whole hand. For one to succeed, the first person you have to betray is yourself and your heart.
And with that, we cut away from Shriek and Madame for a moment and join someone else, as they've invited a guest into their home. Cash shakes the hand of a woman. Thank you for seeing me on such short notice, he says, sort of out of out of breath, little shaking. It's fine, Mr. Jackson. What happened? You were right. You were fucking right. And I believe that is where we are going to end the session for tonight.
Fuck you!
What did I say about heartbreak?
Oh, shit.
Oh, God damn it. Cash! You stupid fucking idiot!
No! No! I know.
Uh-oh.
I know. This is gonna break your heart so hard.
I'm pretty sure I already gained disdain for that intimidation tactic. but-
Yeah, you did. You have one. So I need you to roll the remorse on that one, my friend.
I
Feels
wonder if
bad,
the
man.
stain's like if Aaron's stain is bigger than the stain in that kid's underpants after intimidating.
I could have done worse, but I was on 3 hunger and I still could re-roll 1 die. I could have done so much worse. He should be
Coulda.
grateful.
Coulda.
He should be grateful. I would have paralyzed him.
Coulda.
I would have thrown him in a car and like shipped him off on a fucking sailboat.
Coulda.
Sail.
Sail.
Sorry. Make that there remorse check.
Fuck.
You lose humanity over it. You do not feel bad. In fact, it was justified.
It was.
That
This
shit
kid
was so
knows
fucking
nothing.
justified.
Knows nothing about what he's getting himself into, and you know better.
I do.
Fuck him. Little shit needs to be in his place.
It needs to be. I'm not gonna go old Yeller him, but like, well, I might. That might happen. I'm gonna find him with
Don't
just
worry,
like
Ma.
a broken leg or
He was
something.
my
nothing
dog.
like-
I'll do it.
Oh my god.
This
whole
is a
situation is
vampire
terrible.
game. Things are
bad.
bound to happen.
This is terrible. I'm sorry, Cash.
I'm sorry.
You're just a little goober guy.
All
Just some normal dude.
the normal goober guy. Alright, so with that being said, I think what this does is really kind of start and open up a new arc for us. So I'm going to give you all 3 experience across the board. We're not even gonna deliberate. Everybody gets 3. So
Okay.
more or less season 2.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah. So
I mean, we are up to episode 39, so like,
it's true. It's true.
This is probably the longest VTM chronicle you've ran.
San Antonio version.
San Antonio, yeah, it lasted a hot second. But
It had
like,
3 seasons, all of which had right around 20 episodes.
But we're getting there.
We're getting there. So, we have yet to beat out San Antonio 1, so we'll find out. But yes, now, since we have no deliberations to do, why don't we go and raid somebody?
Sounds good.
We'll find somebody to raid. Thank you all so much for watching. We had some first-time chatters and some new followers come in, so thank you guys so much for swinging on by. And then also, of course, Caffeinated Chronicles or K-Night Chronicles went in lurk mode and was a first-time chatter. So thank you very much for swinging by. So we will start with episode 40 of Blood and Iron next week, Lord willing. That will also be my birthday week. So
Ooh,
yeah.
Happy birthday.
Oh, the big 4-0.
No, 30.
Murph.
I don't know that we're supposed to even talk about age on Twitch, but not 40, not quite.
No, that was just making the joke
I
because
understand.
of episode 40.
Oh, it's true. Yeah, mm-hmm. It's a good joke. Good joke. But yes. Yeah, next week will be birthday week, and so I don't know. We're not doing any extra streams, so but
We should have like a subscriber special or something. We should have like some cool art plastered on the front. Let's do that. That sounds great.
we can do a birthday art. Let's put a birthday art up for
Birthday art.
birthday for Blood and Iron and for
It's just Gerard in a party hat.
Look, I don't have time to draw it. If you want to spec,
The most dejected looking Gerard ever with
Still
a
with a
party
beer
hat
in
on.
hand, but it's like the
Yeah.
fucking red cup.
Look, Specs,
He's
if you
not
want
having
to
a good
draw it,
time.
I would 100% pay you for it.
He's got one of those really sad potty whistles in his mouth.
Uh-huh.
And for, post that up on Blood and Iron and on Rebirth and be like, hey, hat birth. So, yep. So, well, you and I may have to talk about that, Spectre. But, yeah. So let's go raid somebody and see what else is going on in the Twitch lands at, 1:43 in the morning Central Time. So, happy 4th of July to the Americans out there in the audience. So, have a good holiday weekend.
Yay, America.
Merca. And we'll see you for Rebirth on Saturday. So, see you then. Say goodnight, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Night.
Good night.
Good night.